In terms of our last speaker for this session, Peter Mersi, the Chief Executive of the Ministry of Transport, was appointed in July 2016 to this role as Secretary for Transport and Chief Executive. Peter was the Chief Executive of Land Information New Zealand for 4 years prior to this role, and he has spent the majority of his career in the public service. Peter's held senior leadership roles in Inland Revenue, the Treasury, and the Department of Internal Affairs. E te rangatira, nau mai piki mai ki te āta mira nei. Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe Selwyn, and tēnā koutou katoa. Good afternoon, everyone. Just to confirm, Nadine said I took a ride on a Lime scooter. I did, and just for my staff in the room, I wore a helmet and a high-vis vest, but I didn't take a photo. The Living Standards Framework and the Wellbeing Budget are now part of the new context for government agencies. We're being asked to think about the biggest difference we can make for New Zealanders and to look beyond our traditional boundaries. As the government's lead transport policy advisor, the Ministry's overarching focus is on improving our transport system to not only meet increasing and changing demand, but to support prosperity and well-being for New Zealanders. Access to goods, jobs, services, and other opportunities is a key enabler to achieving this. We can improve accessibility through a range of transport-based measures from planning to investment. Last year, the Ministry released the Transport Outcomes Framework, which sets the overall purpose of delivering a transport system that improves well-being and livability. It's integrated into the Living Standards Framework and sets out 5 key outcomes that transport contributes to. Inclusive access is about enabling everyone to actively participate in society and to access social and economic opportunities such as work, education and healthcare. While a transport system that supports healthy and safe people is one that protects people from transport-related injuries and harmful pollution and makes active modes of travel an attractive option. We also need to focus on the environmental impact of the transport system, such as on emissions. Our outcomes framework also considers resilience and security. Natural hazard events like earthquakes and floods can cause havoc to infrastructure and communities. Similarly, we need to ensure we have the ability to prevent or to respond to major security incidents which impact the transport system. And finally, our transport system supports economic activity by connecting businesses with their workers, customers, suppliers, and each other. We'll be evaluating policy proposals against these 5 outcomes to help us deliver the best possible transport system for New Zealand. That system is currently going through significant change, in part through the direction taken in the current government policy statement on land transport. The statement provides guidance on how around $4 billion is spent through the National Land Transport Fund each year. It also provides signals for spending of a further $1 billion on land transport through local government and about another $500 million of Crown investment. The 2018 statement represented a significant shift, with safety and access identified as top priorities. Safety is about renewing our strategic focus, making state highways and local roads safer for everyone, making cycling and walking safer, and promoting safe behaviour by road users. Access is about increasing connections for metropolitan and high growth areas. Transport should make it easy for people to get where they want to or need to go while creating vibrant communities and supporting commercial activity. It also needs to enable a range of lower cost and more efficient transport choices so people can more easily access employment, education, recreational and social opportunities. This means a multimodal modern transport system that provides people and businesses with greater choice in how they travel, provide services or move goods. As the Ministry works on the next Government Policy Statement 2021, We're focused on getting the best from all modes of transport and ensuring that over time, each mode can efficiently and effectively make an appropriate contribution to transporting people and freight across our nation. You heard Minister Jones this morning refer to the amount of funding that rail has received in the last budget. And that demonstrates the government's desire to deliver an increasingly multimodal transport system. Rail, together with coastal shipping, are transport system components that can achieve greater balance across New Zealand's transport system and play an important role in connecting our cities, towns and regions, and in a manner which has a lower carbon footprint. Investing in a rail network increases the resilience of our transport system, enables growth by opening up new corridors, improves freight connections to ports, airports and distribution centres, and provides an alternative mode for freight. At the same time as the New Zealand transport system is rapidly evolving, we also need to consider the future of transport infrastructure funding. With the rise of ride sharing, electric vehicles and a multitude of new mobility solutions, one of the goals of the Ministry is to model and identify the most appropriate and sustainable revenue streams for the land transport system. Importantly, this means delivering a funding model that is capable of adapting to economic, environmental, technical and social changes. Under the current system, Government has committed the revenue from fuel excise duty, the road user charge and motor vehicle registration and licensing as the primary source of funding for land transport. This revenue provides money to invest in regulating the system, maintaining the asset base, improving the level of service, and evolving New Zealand's transport network to meet changing demands on the system. Over coming years, this revenue system will face a number of challenges. For example, revenue will come under increasing pressure as vehicles become much more fuel efficient and are powered by alternative means such as electricity and hydrogen. The potential for double taxation for vehicles that use a mix of fuels which are subject to different charging regimes. An increase in ride sharing and active modes, such as e-bikes and e-scooters, are transforming how people get from place to place, and public transport usage continues to grow and move people out of cars. These are all leading to mean that over time we can expect to see fewer single occupancy vehicles on our roads. So this will lead to an increased debate about the fairness of different charging regimes. New vehicle technologies such as hybrid, electric or alternative fuel vehicles could be charged on a per kilometre basis through the existing road user charges system. This system, the RUC, could also be recast to replace existing duties for petrol vehicles. Furthermore, moving the entire fleet onto RUC creates the possibility of a more sophisticated charging system to recognise factors other than just road kilometres travelled. These could include location, time of day, vehicle weight, and other characteristics such as the amount of emissions from particular vehicles, real-time congestion levels on the roads, and even the type of road. Incorporating these costs would enable the externalities, so that is the costs imposed on others by road users, to be paid for by road users. Economists have long argued that the most efficient way of addressing externalities is to incorporate them into the prices market actors play, and that this will lead to an increase in societal welfare. Research on the effects of pricing travel behaviour shows that benefits could include shifting some vehicle trips from peak to off-peak periods, reducing total vehicle trips and distances, increasing mode shift, increasing reliability, and providing information to better guide traffic management and investment. Having said all that, there are a number of issues that would need to be considered. These include not only the technology that's required, but how to ensure that users would know what they paid at any point in time. This is critical if one of the objectives is to influence behaviour of people on our roads. We also don't know what transport investments we'll be funding in 20 to 40 years' time, so a future revenue system needs to be flexible enough to adapt to changing behaviour and evolving technologies. The National Land Transport Fund is currently an effective tool for funding short and medium-term infrastructure. But what's missing at present, and you've heard it earlier today, is an intergenerational approach to funding transport infrastructure. I will not be announcing a solution today. To better understand both the future challenges and opportunities, we're undertaking a project that takes a fundamental look at the land transport revenue system and how it will need to and could adapt for the future. Reforming the land transport revenue system will be a complex policy and political issue. For this reason, it's important the debate is methodical, thorough, and transparent. Winning support for substantial reform will require a transparent diagnosis of the challenge and a deliberate consideration of the benefits and impacts of alternative options. We will be focusing even more on how transport can be a lever for change and how our urban and rural areas develop, in identifying new areas for development and in rethinking how we move people and goods around New Zealand and overseas. You, as infrastructure partners, play a critical role in this. Good policy requires your input, and delivering a multimodal system that gives people a range of transport options that are accessible, frequent and affordable relies on all of us working in partnership. Kia ora tātou. Thank you very much.